Hello, this is Onerna here, and for today's video, and a first few lines of videos I hope to cover in the future, I will be talking about my experience with Asperger's syndrome. Particularly in this video, I will be talking about self-stimulation, or as commonly known as stimming. Now, I want to just point out a few things about this video. First of all, this is mainly for other individuals who have Asperger's or autism. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to just mainly say Asperger's because that's the thing that I have, and I don't want to just constantly say Asperger's or autism. It just saves me a bunch of time. Like I said before, this is mainly for others with Asperger's or autism. Mainly for those who are around their teens or 20s, mainly the latter because I'm 21 years old, turning 22 here soon. If you're a teenager, then this still would apply to you as well, and hopefully will help you deal with a bunch of things. And I also want to say that I am obviously not a professional. I don't have a degree in psychology or psychiatry or whatever. I'm just some random guy who has a part-time job at a grocery store, who draws on his free time and other stuff, who's just trying to make a video series, just trying to help others with Asperger's feel less alone, and vice versa. So anyhow, on to the video. Now, what is stimming? Stimming, as I said before, is short for self-stimulation. It's, self-stimulatory behaviors. It's a behavior that most people exhibit, for example, twirling your hair, or tapping a pencil, or tapping your foot to a certain song, or I guess you could say headbanging in the metal music term. Now, the thing about the term is that it's most often used for those with autism. The reason why there's a difference between the two is because those with autism tend to have more of a noticeable stim, even to what some would describe as quote-unquote weird. It's the kind that most parents feel not embarrassed, but worried about, because others would especially look at the stims that their children is doing and be not weirded out by it. But I want to kind of go more into exactly what stimming is for those with autism. According to autismdigest.com, quote, most kids with autism do these repetitive behaviors because it feels good in some way. It may counteract an overwhelming sensory environment or alleviate the high levels of internal anxiety these kids typically feel every day. Individuals with autism exhibit a variety of stims. They may rock, flap, spin themselves or items such as coins, pace, hit themselves, or repeat words over and over, which is an example of verbal stims. When these behaviors are uncontrollable, occur excessively in inappropriate settings, or prevent a child from socially acceptable interaction, a problem exists. Unquote. Now, the example that they give in terms of hitting yourself as a term of stimming, that's an example that most parents, or indeed everyone, would find worrisome, because it's something that harms the child. And as an example, one of my sisters has a son who has autism, who has occasionally hit himself when he's stimming. And what they've tried to do is that they've tried to either tell him to not do that anymore, or to find a more helpful kind of stim. Now, it sounds strange because most people associate stimming as negative, which it really shouldn't be. As Autism Digest has described, is that when the stimming behavior is uncontrollable or occurs excessively in inappropriate settings, or prevents a child from socially acceptable interaction, then a problem exists. So what this means is that, if your child, or if, I don't want to say child, but you get that general idea. If a child who has autism is stimming either at their home or at a safe setting, like their room or whatnot, or in the forest, that particular stim isn't something extreme or dangerous, or that prevents themselves in any way, shape, or form, then it's all right. Now, the thing that people either parents or professionals would try to do if they wanted to control a child's stimming is they would probably suggest all other alternative forms of stimming, such as maybe giving them like a toy or like a round ball for the child to play with, like feeling his hands, the texture, like the material. I do want to get to like the part of stimming which may sound a little bit odd, or not odd, but like interesting, is that for me and a lot of others I know, stimming happens when we feel excited or happy. The most common examples of this kind of stimming happens when we're either listening to music that we like or that's very catchy, or when we're watching like a climax to a show. In my example, probably to an mecha anime show. Now, the blog that I will be linking to the description, as well as like the Autism Digest website, KristenLynnsmith.wordpress.com, and I apologize for butchering the name. They give more insight into what exactly I mean by this. Quote, the buildup of emotion, the need to release emotional or physical tension due to an overload of cuteness, of moi, of anxiety, of anything, is something that everyone has felt at some point, at some time or another. It's a type of self-soothing, whether one needs to be soothed because something is just too cute, or because that ambulance siren is just way too loud. The root cause is essentially the same. And I think the person does nail the point exactly. Stimming isn't just something that happens to us when we're experiencing a negative situation. It also happens to us in a positive situation, and it's not something that, for the positive situation, as I said before, as long as it isn't harming themselves, and they're doing it in a setting that's, they're with someone that, understands them, or they're doing it at their home or whatever like that, it's alright to do, It can even be sort of like it's essentially kind of like a way that someone might, like, relax to music in general, or watch a film, just to unwind. It's just that stimming, for those with Asperger's or autism, is just kind of like another step to that process of relaxing. Now, I do want to give some examples of my experiences when I stimmed. At around ages 3 to 5, I would run around in circles while a particular film was playing, and that would be, or at least like from my memory, the particular film Cats Don't Dance. And for those who recognize that film, then you rock. From ages 7 to 9, I would rock side to side, lifting one leg up and vice versa when I was listening to my Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack CD. And then another example from during those ages, I would rock in the rocking chair, listening to MIDI or MP3 music online. And if you want an example of what that sounds like, then I'll post in the video whenever I get around to it. If I don't, then I'm sorry. Now, from ages 13 to 19, the stimming behavior, at least the positive stimming behavior, becomes less noticeable, or odd, you could say. I would swing around in my office desk when I was listening to music, essentially from side to side, and I would usually do it by putting like one foot on top of the desk, because it's designed a way where I'm able to do that, and I would just use my other foot to kind of like, swing from side to side. It's hard to describe, but I think you get the point. And as for now, I stim. I've recently been doing a kind of stim where it's just simply me rocking back and forth on the chair while listening to music, or when I'm listening to like a podcast or a video that has me engaged, because I would just be so engaged in the conversation, especially if it's like an exciting topic or something that I'm interested in, that excitement, I would just, be, I have that feel to stim. So, that's all I really have to say right now. I could describe more about stimming, but I feel as though I've done a good enough point, and I don't want to make this video as long as it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like. Even better, please leave a comment below on your thoughts about this. Don't be afraid of saying anything to me. I will return a comment back to you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good day or night.